Welcome to Laugh Cryer's Eye. This is a comedy disability podcast hosted by me, Steve Wilbury. And as always, is my co-host Naomi Strain.
Hello.
We're here to look at a life on the other side of health through a lens of those who've been othered by the great society, spazzes, if you will.
If I sat on a bench and went to talk to a stranger, they are going to judge me on my personality and my face, and not my disability. But in normal life with friends and stuff, basically the negative parts about me, how much am I allowed to blame on the disability and how much do I just have to take responsibility for
How do you
because
how
it's
do you, how do you define a negative thing about you?
where do you put it?
What okay, you say a negative thing about me. Where is the disability stop and where do I start? That's kind of what you're saying, right?
That is so much more succinct than I was trying. Thank you.
But the question really is, what's a negative thing about me? Like, which aspect of yourself would you say are you like your vanity, or I don't know, how would you list one negative thing about yourself? Because the thing is,
Uh,
and this is how negative thinking feels change, is you have to specify it, because it's easy to say there's all this shit things about me, I'm such a bad person, and say, okay, list one. Give me a thing. When did you punch a nun? Was there that time there was a child stuck in a river and you just ignored it? Did you gaslight a bunch of people and manipulate them into doing things they didn't want to do? Have you punched a puppy recently? Like, those are bad things. I don't think
yeah.
any of them apply to you, and I don't think that there are negative things about you that can be looked at that way. There's
Well,
just
there's
circumstance.
nothing nasty about me. I'm not nasty.
Yeah.
I'm not cruel. I've got some good qualities, but I think um
List one.
I don't know, trying to
List one of
quantify
your good qualities.
one of them.
Yeah,
I'm kind, I
there
think.
you go. Yeah, I think you are kind. I think that's when you talked about meeting someone on a park
Yeah.
bench or whatever, and you in just guess that's one of the things that people would pick up about you, is that you just are generally a kind person, and you want to be the best Naomi that you can, right? That's
Hmm,
kind of
hmm.
that would be the vibe that I get off of you. So how's that a bad thing? Where is this bad thing? What
I
is
think
it?
I think I can be grumpy.
Okay, that is fine. Are you grumpy because of the disability, or are you disabled because you're grumpy?
Yeah. It's not a side effect of epilepsy. Is you get the grumps. It's not that.
Well,
And I guess I mean,
the grumps are a side effect, I would say, probably being tired and like worn out and fed
hmm.
up, and a lot of the other mental health stuff that comes with having it would be
See,
my
and that's where the
armchair
blurred line
diagnosis.
is. That's
Hmm.
where that blurred line, isn't it? Because I guess with a disability that is basically your life, every part of you, to an extent, is going to be affected by it. Like you can't separate it, can you? It's like I kind of am my disability in one
Mm,
sense
yeah.
because all of my stuff is impacted. Like like say, my sleep is impacted, my mental health is impacted, my capabilities are impacted, even my interpersonal relationships are impacted because the people have to be accepting of who I am,
Hmm.
which generally means I surround myself in my life with good people because they're the ones who get it. Like
Hmm.
some right wing judgmental asshole isn't going to be as kind about my life situation as some open minded, generally left wing, understanding person.
Hmm.
And so it does help me weed out
Wait, hold
who
on. Are you
has
calling me
problems.
woke, sister? Because I will snowflake your ass.
You are so woke.
God, I'm
Being
so woke.
woke.
I'm so woke. I got insomnia.
But woke people are the best.
Well, no,
People use it as an
I
insult.
think you're right, because they've labeled kindness woke, and that is the worst part of it, I think,
Yeah, it's
because
like
you that mm.
yeah, if you're called woke, it means you're aware of injustices and you want the best for everybody. Like, that's a terrible, terrible thing to do.
What you're making me do, sister, is you're making me question my own beliefs, and as soon as I stop, I'm gonna have to realize that deep down I really hate myself, and I just want to wear ballet shoes. But that is just not easy. So I'm just gonna be angry.
Yeah, I got into a theological discussion the other day, which was quite fun, and it was quite a nice one actually, because we did come to.
Did you punch a nun? Did you punch a nun?
Mm-hmm.
You
That was the
punched a nun.
theological discussion: is not should I or shouldn't I, but will I or won't I? And
I
I did.
once asked a Buddhist nun. I said, I was on the toilet and I thought of a question. And she said, no, your poop is not sentient. You can flush it. I was like, that wasn't the question I thought of.
Yeah, this way. I'd never thought, when I imagine a Buddhist, I never think of a woman. I've never ever
That's
pictured
because it's
a
intensely
female Buddhist.
patriarchal.
Why have I never pictured a female Buddhist?
I'm
Why
going to
would
say
I?
unconscious biases and your blatant racism.
It's my internal misogyny.
Yeah, it's
Mm,
because you hate everyone who's not white. You're
yeah.
so racist now.
Don't. I, no, can't have that released into the world because it's not true. Um, so my theological discussion actually was about a guy who'd put on one of the epilepsy pages. He
Hmm.
put that he feels that when he has a seizure, it
Hmm.
brings it's God's way of calling him back for some moments of his time, and like basically saying that God wants to see you for a bit, and in return he gives you seizures. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, how is that a blessing? And like we went back and forth for a long time, and trying to be kept it quite civil. I was like, how is it a blessing? And he's like, well, you get to spend some time with God, and he, along the lines of keeps your soul. And I was like, hang on, so you go and see him for a bit, and my analogy was you go and visit your parents, and on the way out they kick you. And he was like, well, that's not the same. And I'm like, well, if you believe in God, that's totally the same. You get blessed with some time, and in return he takes your soul. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, so he sends you soulless into a cruel world? Like, that's nice. And we talked it round, and we came to the understanding that from his point of view, that God calls you to him for a reason. He has a job or some information or whatever. He calls you to him for a reason, and he's very sorry, but the side effect or downside of that is that you will come back with seizures. Not as a punishment, but it's like, oh, like if you take too much paracetamol, you might get a bit sick, but you need to take the paracetamol. That kind of logic. And it's like, you're really grasping, mate.
Mate,
But
anyone who thinks that there is a conscious God and that conscious God gives children cancer can fuck off.
it's a tricky one to, understand how people would have that mindset. And I'm not shitting on anyone who needs religion to do their thing. I know on a lot of the
No, I
epilepsy
ain't.
pages,
They
it
can all
goes,
fuck off.
but it goes that way on the epilepsy pages. So many of them,
Mm.
the comments are full of extremely effusive God-related messages. And then there's another group of us that every time we're like, will you stop making our seizures about God? Because he didn't, if you believe that, he didn't do it to test us. He didn't do it because we're strong enough to cope with it.
Mm.
It's like, it's brain misfirings that are fucked up and
Mm.
that are horrible. And nobody deserves to have these things. I mean, some people maybe if I had a list, but nobody deserves these things. So why? Why would,
Give give us the list, Naomi. Release the seizure list. Who deserves it?
right now with my occasional grumps right now, I could probably do a little list. I wouldn't
The
necessarily give
entire
them
Top of the South Film Council. All deserve seizures. You heard it here first.
I wouldn't necessarily give anybody full all the time seizures, but they could have one as a surprise. Bam.
Just like, yeah, you like it, chump. Just a swift uppercut of justice.
Yeah, while they're driving.
twice, so they have their license taken away.
Yeah, or maybe in the sea, maybe they go swimming. I wonder if I was magical like you,
Mm,
if I took somebody to the sea to swim as a social thing,
as you
and
do.
I did, and I had the magical power to bam a seizure on somebody,
Yeah.
would that be potentially murder if I bammed them with seizures in the sea?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
I would have just caused the seizure. I wouldn't have caused the drowning. Maybe manslaughter.
You would very much have known the effects. Naomi, okay, I'm going to put you on the stand. Miss Strain, given that you can willfully induce seizures, why didn't you give yourself one when you were in the ocean if they're so much fun?
I
Is
already
it
have
because
one.
you knew you would die?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Hmm,
Sorry, Your Honor.
hmm,
Prob's
hmm,
right, Your Honor.
hmm.
Sorry. Sorry, Your Majesty.
This is why I'm ace attorney.
Yeah. 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 Sorry about that. All right. I won't use my magic powers for evil.
But your magic evil seizure powers. I don't think there is a good use. There's unless someone was going to set an orphanage on fire, and then you could be like bang seizure, and then you would stop.
It's kind of like psychic taser, isn't it?
It's exactly a psychic taser. Maybe that's what's really happening. You're being psychically tasered. Makes
What should
just
I
as
do
much
to
sense as the
deserve
gods do.
this?
I think you should
Yeah,
bring that up to the gods. Say, why is God psychically tasering me if he loved me so much?
totally going to use that phrase next time I get into these chats. That's a good phrase.
I'm a good language model.
Yeah, you're like AI.
I'm like a real person. But it's all just lies.
You have the illusion of being intelligent, but behind the
Hmm.
scenes, it's just a load of bullshit.
If you put enough bullshit in, eventually the shit goes, and then you're just left with bull. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
it's
song lyric right there. I'm a goddamn poet,
you are.
and
It's
I
very
know
very
it.
philosophical as well.
That's me all day,
And
24/7.
is that some AI bullshit? I've been enjoying AI lately. I don't know if you saw. I put on my Facebook that I was playing with AI, and I put
Oh yeah, the character generator.
it was ridiculous. So I'm like described myself, in very
Hmm.
basic terms of what I think I look like, and what came back was um slightly plus size black lady with massive boobs. Um, and I thought, how did it get it so wrong for my description? Like
Because they're
everything
not
did
that
that
smart.
was, I know it's really not. And trying to
Although,
explain to people how AI uses, tokens rather than it doesn't read speech as us. It
hmm,
reads chunks, tokens of information, and so it can interpret things quite differently. And the big one at the moment is asking AI how many R's are in strawberry,
hmm,
and it gets it wrong so often. And it's because
yeah,
it's chunks. So if it reads straw and berry, there's
hmm.
two chunks that have got R's in them, so it reads it as two R's. And that's where it kind of falls down. It's very much dependent on how you phrase your search. And you can put the same search in 10 times and you'll get different results each time.
I asked it to write a Tinder bio for a beaver from ChatGPT, and it was really on point. And it was about like something about needing dreams of architecture or something. It was honestly one of the funniest things I've ever read in my life. The original beaver Tinder profile. Hi there, I'm a hardworking beaver who enjoys building dams and gnawing on wood in my free time. When I'm not busy creating my underwater kingdom, you can find me watching my favorite shows or trying out new recipes. I'm looking for someone who appreciates a good sense of humor and a strong work ethic. Bonus points if you're into architecture and engineering. Let's go out and explore the world together.
That's really nice. I'd date that beaver.
That you would, you filthy beaver dater.
Yeah, I might have a little look, see what it would write for me. But it's funny. I remember playing with it to a friend of mine going, write a script about this because its scripts are terrible. Like, I don't think as script writers we'd ever have to be concerned. And this one, my favorite part was he asked a riddle and the person guessed, and he went, no, the correct answer is this. Try again. And then the person tries again with a different answer, and he goes, no, the correct answer is this. Try again. And
Hmm.
it's like, do you not understand? You're telling the answer to the riddle. And it's like that there's no, obviously there's no intellect behind the
No,
information it's given. Yeah. And I think
it's
it's
just
dangerous because people will fall into believing that. And like the
well, one of
amount of,
the things at Edinburgh Fringe they're saying was that if you have it generate stuff whole cloth, if you're like, write me some ad copy, there's like an unconscious bias. But if you write some ad copy and then get the GPT to like tweak it, then that works really well. But if it's like newly generated stuff, there's just like a weird cadence to it that people can just smell and don't like.
yeah, yeah. It's like the pictures, so many like online that, you know, it's flooded with AI images. And
Hmm.
particularly older people do not see that it's
No
AI.
idea.
And that, you know, they're fully believing that these amazing structures and these works of art, like, you know, a 4-year-old building the most beautiful sand structure, you
Yeah.
know, and they're like, wow, he's so talented, that's amazing. And it's like that one in particular with the sand sculpture, it's like, yeah, but he's got a dog's face on his knee, he's got 6 fingers, you know, his other hand is blending into sand, you know. It's like these little details that, like I say, particularly the older generation don't pick up on. And some of the AI images are amazing, you know, they're so good. But there are tells and there are giveaways. And when you want to be impressed by a picture, you can dismiss all those little details. And it's scary because it is going to get better and better. And even now, like I play a lot of little silly games on my phone, and they have adverts.
Hmm.
And so many of the adverts, like the last one that popped up, was Ryan Reynolds having a conversation with somebody else as though it was an interview. And, you know, so I was letting the advert run and it was a normal interview. And the questions were, is it true that you're in this film? And it's like, yeah. And is it true that at this event you did that? And it went, yeah. And then it went, and is it true that you regularly play, I don't know, Crash Bingo? And he's like, yeah. And it's great because I've made loads of money on it and there's hardly any adverts in it. And it's like, what? Hank? No, I'm sure Ryan Reynolds didn't say that. And but it looks so real. It is them. The voices sound just like them. And I thought it was an interview, and it's like, no, I don't think. And there's, I saw another one with Ellen DeGeneres, and you know, and Justin Bieber was one, and it's like they are
I
so
saw one that
believable.
was on Reddit, and it was a guy doing a live stream, and he had a Elon Musk filter on, and a lady was like, on the line, is like, are you really him? And he pulls on his skin, and you can see Elon Musk's skin move in real time. And the lady's like, oh, it is you. And by the time my son is grown, I think the internet's going to be unusable because it's just going to be full of AI, everything.
Yeah, AI and dead internet. Yeah, because even though with scams, people have been scammed by a loved one's voice. So their loved one calls them
Mm,
and says, "Hello, I am your daughter, and I need some money." And they're like, "Oh yeah,
mm.
that is my daughter," and it's not. It's a generated voice that's picked up on you, and it's like I think we need to start getting very paranoid. And like, if my loved one calls me and asks for assistance, we need to have like key phrases and, you know, little passwords and things that we
Mm.
can, you know, like if you're held hostage, you need those little tells to give it away. It's quite terrifying. But like you say, the internet is going to be full of just the machines talking to each other.
Yeah, that's all it's going to be.
Like half the time now, if you're having a discussion, you don't know if it's a person or if you're
Mm.
arguing into the void with something that's not even reading it, it's just churning out responses. And then you finish the conversation and shut the internet down and you're sitting in the lounge really pissed off because somebody won't listen to your opinion on oranges.
But they won't listen to your opinion on oranges because somebody in Russia decided to invest in making people in New Zealand angry.
So they win. Machines are
So they
winning.
win. The machines win. Don't let the machines win. I'm gonna have to wrap up. My pain's starting to go
Yeah,
funky.
I saw your eye going then. You need to go deal with that.
I need to go like stretch or do something.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Hooray, we managed to talk at the same time rather than being useless.
We did.
Hooray.
We did a talking. Thank you for listening to Laugh Cry Die. We'll see you next time.
See you.